During lunch, I always find it especially towards the end of the week, when you form up in little groups and you start talking bullshit to yourselves, and the ostensibly the most senior of the group kind of holds court and talks bullshit about how to do this. And then I wait to the first one or two or three weekly reports, and I remind them, I say, remember what you told so-and-so and so-and-so when you were sitting in the dining room or in the library like a fucking pendejo over here? What happened to that sage wisdom that you were spewing out of your fucking lips? You know, because it's easy to talk about. It's a motherfucker to do. But I'll remember. Hector, remember when you were telling me about the dream team and the this, and remember? And you were jacking off all that Mexican sperm all over everybody? Remember? And you'll forget the bullshit that you said. Now, I haven't worn too many frog ties this week, or my frog cufflinks, but this is a new thing my wife got me. It's a paperweight. I have probably in the castle, I don't know, 300 frogs with things frog on them. And I have probably 40 or 50 on my desk. Because it's very easy to forget that this is a numbers game. Especially after not having to really work for 30 plus years. I can just, I just look at Hector and I see everything that I don't want to be, as a Latino man, a Latin man. And that I can just see him if he was me 30 years ago and he had been fucking Mexican of the Year. Oh, God, I can't even... Oh, it scares the fuck out of me just to think, if he was Mexican of the Year in 1981, he'd weigh 900 pounds. It's just hard. Chicano to Chicano, he doesn't like that. But Chicano to Chicano, he knows exactly what the fuck I mean. And for those of you that are watching, because it's so easy not to pursue this platform. It's so easy. It's just hard. And I read a couple of emails, and that one of my crack staff by accident didn't blind copy a bunch of people. They copied a bunch of people. So now mentees have some of my superstar email addresses. And so one of my superstar email mentees said, "A fucking idiot from the June fucking email thinks I'm going to be his fucking brother now. I don't want to talk to the fuck. I've told him to fuck off, but could you please tell him to fuck off?" Because contrary, not everybody wants to be your brother. Because they're busy, not because they have wish any harm on you or anything like that. They're busy. And I'm on board, pull up the gangplank. Verstehen? Okay. I'm on the program, I'm doing it right. Fuck Mark or whoever. And I don't blame him. And because the one thing that they remember is they're being selfish. And one of the things I do in the Hammer closed in a few hours is, Jason, the trouble, and I don't even have to guess. You're not being selfish enough. And selfish has a bad connotation. But, to do right by your family and everybody else, you got to love yourself. And you love yourself first, and then everything else, you can be a good father, you can be a good Muslim, you can be a good whatever the fuck you want to be. I asked you to read the article, if I remember correctly, that Gates' ex-wife, or not Gates, Musk's ex-wife wrote. Isn't that what I said? Isn't that what the article is about? Plus a couple others. And anybody, what's the takeaway from? Yes, sir.
One of the things I found striking was she says, learn to handle a level of stress that would break most people. It goes against a lot of what all the other guys say because they want you to believe everyone can do it. Not everyone can do it. No. And that's the bullshit about personal development. They say everybody can do it. Everybody can get better. No question about that. Everybody can, have a little more well-being. There's no question about that. Everybody can get a little more healthy. The health bullshit that's sold, But can everybody do the stuff that's necessary to really get you across the chasm? No. It's only a few people can do that. And she goes on, she says that it's the son of a bitch. What else is in that article? Yeah.
I actually disagree with one thing, and it is what has worked for someone else probably won't work for you.
No, I agree. But what I think she means, although I've never met the woman, is that everybody's got to do it a little different. See, but the QLA model can work for everybody that's willing to pay the sacrifice, make the commitment. I mean, Jamie's twisted it a little, Robert's twisted it a little, all those people up there have twisted it a little. What Musk did, I don't know, other than he likes to say fuck and a few other things, which I can relate to. What else in that?
Don't pursue something because you want to be great. So that kind of feeds into like the whole ego. Don't do something that's going to feed your ego, do something because you love it.
Yeah, you love it, and but there's a lot of same stuff. It's the same stuff now. You can easily argue she's got an axe to grind, but I think that in general what she's saying is pretty accurate. And I can imagine it wasn't easy being married to Musk. Of course, a lot of people say it's not easy being married to me. Of course, I take some exception with that. I think that I'm quite a charming fellow, but having just yelled at Sally, she may take exception with that in the last 30 minutes. Yeah, but
sorry, one thing, the comment at the bottom, like that's just ridiculous political correctness and stupidity from someone who thinks that it's some feminist bullshit about Catherine the Great didn't exist. Like, that's just ridiculous.
Yeah, well, she's supposedly a pretty headstrong woman and high performance in her own right. I tend to believe that. And there's no limitation. I mean, this is not just for guys. I get emails from, quite often, women say, how come there's not more women on the course? And there's no exclusion, believe me, ladies, there's no exclusion. It's just that not that many women can, in their own minds, pay the sacrifice. Women, if they want to be a partner, a mother, and all that kind of stuff, I mean, it takes time and you're spread pretty thin. But it is done. I mean, you see all these high-performance women all the time. But there's clearly more guys than there are women. And but that's not because the women aren't capable. And I don't believe in the glass ceiling. That's bullshit. That women are suppressed in some way. And I told you that the women that I've had the privilege of training, mentoring, coaching, in a lot of ways have done it easier because the guys rather in general. If I got to deal with Mark or I got to deal with a fairly a reasonably attractive woman, I'd rather deal with a reasonably attractive woman. And it's that sounds chauvinist, that sounds shit, but it's the truth. It's just the truth. When Sally and I were running the gun and doing deals, not just because I was considered tough to do business with, but they would rather see Sally than me. For a lot of more or less fairly obvious reasons, but so the women, Helen's here, and we have one woman more or less per seminar, not because we restrict them in any way. Anything else about? Yes, Helen.
She talks about failure, and if you're not prepared to fail catastrophically in front of your friends and family, and then move on, you probably won't succeed.
She's right about that. And although, how many have read that article before they got here? 3. I mean, what's wrong with you Google fuckers? I mean, come on. You know? Very little, other than the way I connect the dots that I present here, is new. And, it dates back, centuries, and in some cases, thousands of years. Well, that's the last homework you're going to get. I know you're all thrilled. You don't know whether to shoot or go blind. But that's the last homework assignment over lunch. While I'm talking about homework, anything else about homework? Okay. Okay, now, we're going there's 5 or 6 slides here. We're going to spend very few minutes on it, not because they're not important, but they're not important for where you are now. Types of finance and capital. Receiving finance, you're either an A credit or an F credit. A credit means you're, for example, Bank of America. F credit, you are Shakir. Simply speaking. And maybe Matt's a D credit, that Matt giving you because he does your fucking affiliate shit. So you got to be, I'm hoping you're a better credit than he is. And then in credit, like in bonds, you're a AAA bond, a AA, blah, blah, blah. We're not going to talk about all that. But I mean, bottom line, you're either a good credit or a piss poor credit, okay? We may have some, and I'm not talking about your credit score in America, 700-800 credit score. I had a 780, yeah, I think that's it, 780 credit score. And I had a $5 million default mortgage, and I still had 780. 780 high? Okay, with a $5 million default on a home loan. So I thought that the system must be fucked up. That doesn't compute to me. But I don't know if they took my worldwide or I don't know how they did, but I haven't. But that was a long time ago when I was in fighting with Great Western, and I default. I had a constructive trust, around all, but I couldn't pay money, and so I was late on my mortgage payment in Texas. Anyway, so I always find credit score suspect, and if I could have a 780 with a $5 million default. Okay, I'm not going to ask you which are you. I can just guess where most of you lie. I talked about long-term debt versus short-term debt. I talked about debt equity financing, which for you, secured. I talked about that, guarantees. Do you need a line of credit? I don't know how you're in business today if you don't have a line of credit or an overdraft. Verstehen? Okay. We've had people at this seminar have their line of credit doubled, tripled, quadrupled by calling their bank and threatening to leave. If I don't go from 50 to 100 grand or 100 to 200, I'm leaving. And the line of credit or the overdraft is what you use, on a week-to-week, day-to-day basis, to pay bills, etc. We talked about receivable financing before, but I mean, that aside, it's absolutely necessary. And part of your financing deal was a line of credit. Okay. And how do you raise your limits? You ask them. You tell them, I'm leaving. Now, of course, you've had a banking relationship since 1821. Mark says he's leaving. Nah, fuck him, he's not leaving. Yeah, but I mean, you say you're leaving. On that, I'll leave YouTube on that happy note. Thank you. See you tonight.